I used to drive for a rideshare company to make extra money. Most of my trips were uneventful, drunk passengers, late-night fast food runs, the usual. But one night, I picked up a passenger that I'll never forget. It was just past midnight, and I was about to log off when a request popped up. The pickup location was an isolated road on the outskirts of town, near a forest. Normally, I'd decline, but I was low on cash that month, so I accepted. As I drove toward the location, I realized how remote it was. No houses. No streetlights. Just a narrow road surrounded by trees. My headlights barely cut through the thick fog creeping along the ground. The closer I got, the more unsettled I felt. When I finally reached the pin on the map, there was no one there. The road was empty. No sign of a passenger. I checked the app again. Sarah was the name listed. 5-star rating. No profile picture. I rolled down my window and called out, Sarah? Silence. I was about to cancel when my back door opened. A woman got in. She was pale, too pale, like she hadn't seen the sun in years. Her long dark hair fell over her face, partially hiding her features. She wore a white dress that looked dirty and torn, like she'd been walking through the woods for hours. I forced a smile and started the trip. Long night? She didn't answer. Just stared out the window. I checked the drop-off location. 12 miles away. Not too bad. I'd just drive, get paid, and forget about this. The first few miles were silent. The only sound was the rumble of my tires on the cracked asphalt. I kept glancing at her in the rearview mirror. Her head was tilted slightly, like she was listening to something. Then, suddenly, she spoke. "He's still out there." Her voice was barely a whisper. A chill ran down my spine. "Who?" I asked, trying to sound casual. She didn't respond. I tightened my grip on the wheel. Maybe she was drunk or on something. Maybe I was just imagining how cold the air inside the car had become. Then, she spoke again. "He's watching." I swallowed hard and forced a chuckle. "Okay, well, that's creepy." She turned her head slowly toward me. Her eyes were black. Completely black. I slammed on the brakes. My heart was hammering. I turned around, but the back seat was empty. I blinked, my breath shallow. I had heard her voice. I had seen her. I checked my phone. The ride had been cancelled. I was shaking as I turned the car around, wanting to get out of there as fast as possible. But just as I started to drive away, my headlights illuminated something in the fog. A figure. Standing in the middle of the road. It wasn't Sarah. It was a man. His face was shadowed, but his body was impossibly thin, almost skeletal. He didn't move. He just stood there, staring at me. I didn't wait. I swerved around him and sped off, my hands slick with sweat. I didn't stop until I was back in the city. I pulled into a gas station and sat there, trying to calm my breathing. Then, my phone buzzed. A new notification. It was from the rideshare app. "Thank you for completing your ride with Sarah. Please rate your passenger." I left my car that night and never drove for them again. But sometimes, when I'm out late, I swear I see someone standing in the fog. Watching.